Hello friends. So today we'll try to solve a question, lead code 1052, Grumpy Bookstore Owner. It's a medium level question, but to be honest, it's a pretty simple question. Only thing that you need to know is the concept of sliding window. That's it. If you know the sliding window approach, then when we'll try to run the question, you will instantly get the solution. I mean, I don't even need to code the solution properly for you. Once you get the gist of it, you will be able to easily code the solution yourself. All right. So I won't get into the detail of that big paragraph what is written over there in the description. I'll just simply tell you the crux of what is given, right? So we have a customers array or customers list, right? And in that list, each index represents a minute. For example, currently you can see in this customers array, right? We have 10121175. So these values represents the customers, right? And their index, right? Like at zeroth index, there is one customer. So basically at zeroth minute, there is one customer. At second minute, there is one customer. Or we would say at fifth minute, there is one customer. At sixth minute, there are seven customers. At seventh minute, there are five customers, right? And what does this grumpy array means? We are given this grumpy array as well. The grumpy array basically signifies that there is a shopkeeper of the bookstore and he's a rigid guy, you know, a little bit, you would say difficult to please guy. So what happens is that you come across many people in the bookstore or different kind of shops as well. When uh, the shopkeeper's mood is not good, he will not entertain you properly, and when his mood is good, he'll entertain you properly, right? So basically, this grumpy array consists of flags for each minute, right? Like for zeroth minute, it says zero. So that means at zeroth minute, the shopkeeper is not grumpy. And at the third minute, the flag is one. So basically, at this point, the shopkeeper is grumpy. So basically, he won't entertain you. Okay. So, and there is one thing. Ultimately, as a business owner, whether you're a shopkeeper or a big business owner, you want customer satisfaction, right? So you want maximum customers to be there at your shop so that there will be more chances of getting a profit, right? So we can simply we can simply get the fact that we have a customers array and a grumpy array, and from the grumpy array we can determine how many customers will be satisfied, right? So basically, if the shopkeeper is not grumpy, that means when the flag is zero, right? The customers will be there and customers will be satisfied. They will visit the shop and they will go satisfied, right? But when the flag is one, the customers will not be satisfied. Basically, there won't be any customers because the shopkeeper is grumpy. He won't entertain the customers, right? So there is one catch in the question. There is a window of minutes, right? For example, here we have a minutes variable and it is given as 3, right? So we can use this window and such that for these consecutive minutes, the shopkeeper, if the shopkeeper is grumpy also, he won't be grumpy for the customers, right? So he will entertain the customers. For example, if we consider this particular window of 3 minutes, right? From index 1 to index 3, right? So here the total number of minutes is 3, the window is 3. So for this particular window, the shopkeeper won't be grumpy. So the total count of satisfied customers will be 0 plus 1 plus 2. Alright. So ultimately what we have to do is that we have to calculate the maximum possible value of satisfied customers given these three conditions. You have a grumpy array, you have a customers array, and you have a window. So let's try to analyze this question, right? So suppose, let me change the color here. Let's take this. All right. So we can see, let me write down customers again. One, two, one, one, seven, and five. And I'll write index as well here. So one, two, four, five, six, seven. Okay, so these are the indexes, let's say indices, right? And which signifies minutes, right? And we have grumpy, right? And it's written like this. Okay, so the customers will be satisfied. All right, the customers will be satisfied when the shopkeeper is not grumpy, right? So when the shopkeeper is not grumpy, that means the flag is zero, and at that time the customers will visit the shop. That's for sure, right? So you can see the values where the shopkeeper is not grumpy. So these values will be present in our final solution. So let's count it as 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 7, which is 10. Alright, write it again. Okay, now what we have to do here. So we have a 3-minute window here as well, right? So I will just erase this example here. So there is no need to think about this example. So we have a 3-minute window, right? So in this 3-minute window, the possible number of windows are, let's say if we write the grumpy array again, the possible windows are this, 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 and so on till the end, right? There are there are six windows here, right? So in this 6 minutes, what we have to do is that we have to calculate the maximum possible entries that can come, right? So when the shopkeeper is not grumpy, the shopkeeper is not grumpy at zero. But when we talk about the minutes variable, which we can use only once, this minute window, we can use it only once, right? So there must be a specific window where the maximum, the value of the total number of satisfied customers will be maximum, right? So if we talk about the first window for this one, right? If we take the value of customers, so the customers are, value will be 1 plus 0 plus 1, right? So it's 2. And at the same time, if we consider this window, right, here it will be this value. So 0 plus 1 plus 2, which is 3 in the second window, right? In the third window, it will be 1 plus 2 plus 1, which is 4. And in the next window, it would be again 4, 2 plus 1 plus 2. It will also be 4. In the next window, it will be 1 plus 1 plus 7, which is 9, right? And in the last window, it would be 1 plus 7 plus 5, which is 13, right? So ultimately, in the last window, the value is maximum. But how do we calculate this value? That's the biggest question. I mean, not calculate, basically return the possible answer, right? So in the first case that we saw, where the flag is 0, we already calculated that sum, right? For 0, we already calculated, which is 10, right? 1, 1, 1, and 7. We already calculated that. So in window, we don't need to calculate the value where flag is 0. We'll only consider the values where flag is 1, because ultimately we have already considered all the 0 flag values, right? So for window 3, right, the max value would be 1 plus 5, where we are taking only flag 1 values, right? So if we rewrite these window flags, so for first window, the value would be 0, because in the first window, the flag value 1 is only this one, right? And here the value is 0. So in the first window, the value is 0. Let me write it here. Alright, let me write it here. Yeah, 0. In the second window, 0, 1 and 2, 1, 0, 1. The flag value 1 is here and flag value 1 corresponds to 2. So it would be 2, 0 plus 2. In the next window, it's again 2 because there is only one flag value and that corresponds to 2. In the next window, we come across 2, 1, 1, and here two flag values are 1, which is 2 plus 1, which is 3, right? In the next window, it would be 1, 1, 7, and there's only one flag value, so it will be 1 only. And in the last window, 1, 0, 1, 7, 5, there are two flag values and it's 6, right? So our maximum value of the window is 6. So ultimately we will return sum plus 6, which will be 10 plus 6, which is equal to 16, right? Let's, you know, it has become a little hodgepodge here. Let's try to dry run it properly. All right. So I will again write down the array. All right. So let me write down the array again. So this is customers array. All right. 1, 0, 1, 2, and 1, 1, 7, 5, right? And the grumpy array has this value 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, right? 0 and 1. Alright, and the minute window that we are given is 3. Okay, so first thing that we did was we'll take a variable sum. Let me change the color again, and let's say s sum is equal to 0, right? And wherever the flag is 0, we'll just sum up those values. Alright, so sum will be equal to 1 plus 1 for this 0, 1, for this 0, 1, and for this 0 there is 1, for this 0 there is 7. Alright, so it's a 10, right? That's a simple thing. Over one loop we'll get these values. Now next thing is we'll have a window value, and let's call it as window. Alright, so we'll just use the basic fixed variables, fixed length sliding window, and in the first window, right, we have this window, right? Let me write it more clearly. So what I'll do is that I'll write it again here, 0 comma 1 comma 1. Okay, 0 1 0 1 0 1 and 0 1. Alright, so this will be our first initial window. Alright, so here the value would be wherever the flag is 1, so window will be only 0, right? Initially it will be 0. Now next we'll create a loop and use this particular window value. We'll store it in a different window and let's call it as a temp window. Alright, or for the sake of writing, we'll call it TW and we'll write it as 0 initially. Right, now you can see that the next window is this, right? Here we have two values, right? And in this two one values, our window would be 0, our customers are 0 and 2. So TW will be 0 plus 2, which is equal to 2, right? In this window it's 2, and when it gets over, we'll just update window as max of TW comma window, right? So this is one key point, and let's check out the other windows. So for this third window we have only one value, and on this third index the value is 2, so TW will become 3, right? Sorry, 3, oh sorry, it will be 2 only, my bad, it will be 2 only, right, in the third window. Now we come across this window. Here we have two ones, right? So on the third index, on the fifth index. So in third index we have a 2, and on fifth index we have a 1, right? So a TW would become 2 plus 1, which is 3, and previously our window was 2. So here this implies max of 2 comma 3 will give us 3, so window will get updated, right? Now in the next window, which is this 0 1 0, we have only one value and it's 1, right? So TW will be 1 and window will remain 3. And in the last window, this one 1 0 1, we have two values 1 and 5, so window will become 1 plus 5 and it will be 6. So this implies max of 6 comma 3 is 6, right? So our final result would be, will return sum plus window, which is 10 plus 6, which is equal to 16, right? So ultimately what we are doing is that first we'll retrieve the sum value for all 0 flags, right? Second, using sliding window calculate the max value for the particular slide, right? Slide or window, whatever you want to call it. And on third, return the value. Fair enough, right? And in the second part, consider only one flag. Alright, so now let's jump into the coding part. Okay guys, now we'll try to code the solution, right? So first what we'll do is that we'll find the length of any of the array, let's say grumpy, right? Both grumpy and customers have same length, it's given in the question as well. And uh, let's say initially our window value is 0, right? And our result, which we'll call as sum, is 0. Alright, fair enough. Right, now we'll calculate a for flag is equal to 0, right? It's not going to be that difficult. So just simple, we'll use a for loop, I less than n, I plus plus, and then if grumpy of I is equal to 0, we'll simply do result plus equal to customers I, right? So this is step 1. Alright, now step 2. Using sliding window, find the max slide, right? So for using sliding window, first we'll need to create a proper sliding window, right? So what we're going to do is that our window length is not variable, it's a constant, and which is equal to minutes, right? So we'll simply loop over that particular length, right? So variable is minutes, yeah, right? So it's minutes and this, right? And here the condition is we have to use flag 1, right? So if grumpy of I is equal to 1, right? Then we have to say a window plus equal to a customers of I, right? Did I write the proper syntax? So it should be when, right? Customers of I. Now I need to create a temporary variable as well. So int temp window, or let's call it temp only, right? I'll give it the value of window, right? Now we'll use the sliding window approach properly. So we went till I was less than minutes, right? So we went till minutes minus 1. So now we should start with minutes, right? So you can see there is no not less than equal to part. So ultimately minutes value is 3. So I would go from 0 to 2, right? 0, 1 and 2, right? So now we should start with minutes. So I'll just write it like that, right? And here we'll go till the length of the array and do it, right? Now here what we have to do is that if if that particular value that we are going forward with, right? If it exists, right, then we have to subtract it from the window, right? Because let me go again. Let's say not go again. Let's not go again this time. Let's say we are at index 0, 1 and 2. Now the window consists of the indexes 0, 1 and 2. Now in the second window we need indexes 1, 2 and 3, right? So we don't need index 0 in that particular window. We don't need to affect, we don't need the effect of index 0 in that particular window, right? So we need to remove that particular value. So if in the previous window, if the flag was 1, right? So we'll remove the index that we are not considering in the current window, right? For example, I won't give an example, I mean, it would have been clear right now. So let's say if grumpy of I minus minutes, right? That means here currently I is minutes and I will be equal to minutes, right? So the index 0. If it is equal to 1, that means the flag is 1. So what we'll do is that we'll simply reduce the value from this window, not this, I would say temp, right? Temp minus equal to, and what we'll write here, customers that index. I hope it's clear, right? Basic sliding window. So if the zeroth index is 1, if the zeroth index is 1, that means the flag is 1, right? And so the window has did have that value for the zeroth index. So we have to remove that value to check for the next window, right? And similarly, if the current index, that means the last index value of the window, that is I, if that is equal to 1, right? So we'll simply add that value. Alright, we're done here. And the next thing what we have to do, we have to update the window, right? So win is equal to man dot max of win comma temp. Alright, so the whole code is complete. Now only thing we have to do is that we have to return the result. So return result plus window, right? So let's see if it's correct or not. See, the test cases are accepted, and now let's submit it. See, so it's submitted. I think the question, you were able to understand what I was trying to, make you understand. And uh, let me go through that index part again. So if you are not familiar with sliding window, only for that purpose, nothing else, right? So what I'm going to do is that in this sliding window, in this particular sliding window thing, suppose I have an array with these indexes, right? Feel free to not watch this part if you already know sliding window, right? Uh, let's say our window was of size 3, right? So for this value, initially our sum was, I'm just giving you an example, a plus b plus c, right? Now, when we shift to a different window for this particular window, right? For this, we need value b, c, and d, right? We need the presence of these values. We don't need a. So what we'll do, we'll just remove this index and add this, right? And initially we calculated that this window is this, right? And the second part, when we used the loop, we already had this value and we were starting from this index only, right? The third index. And for this value 3 minus 3, which we wrote it as I minus minutes, right? Initially it was 0, so 0th index. So we removed this value. So sum became like this, a plus b plus c minus a, right? And in the second case, we considered the value of the current index, which became b plus c plus j, right? And this was the new value. So that's how we continued. And similarly, if we go to this window, the next window, right, from index 2 to 4, so what will be the case? Now sum will be b plus c plus d, and we need to remove b now, right? Because we don't need b here. And then in the second part, we will consider, the only thing is that we had flag values for here. We were only considering those indexes where the flag was 1, right? So in the first window, we considered only B. In the second window, B, we considered B only, right? For using this one. So I hope I was able to make the point clear, right? So I hope you understood the solution. It was an easy question, and sorry if you were not able to understand it properly. I'm trying to improve on a daily basis. So hopefully in the coming videos I'll be able to, be more articulate and uh, be a better orator such that you will understand the solution in a better manner. So I hope my handwriting has improved, right? In the previous videos, if you have saw those videos, you might have seen that, I was just, writing rubbish, but this time my handwriting has improved. So that's the proof that, I'm trying to work, I'm trying to improve. So in the communication part as well, I'll try to improve. So thanks for, cooperating with me. And I hope you understood the solution. And if not, please feel free to comment, criticize me, no worries. I'll try to improve. Alright. So thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Bye bye.